Sorry about that squeak. I need to adjust that a little bit. Working on that sleeve for the custom sweater that I'm currently working on. And I think I need shorter needles. But I'll have to catch it next time. I might actually raise my camera up a little bit more. There we go. That gives me the space that I need with these longer needles. And I'm really sitting up and into the desk. If anyone needs any help with anything, any crochet, knitting, anything at all, hit me up in the comments. I'm just going to sit here and work on this. Try and keep track of my rows. Watch my increases. Welcome in, everyone. Hey, Cindy, welcome in. Tootie, welcome in as well. User 276, welcome in. Welcome, welcome, everyone. I'm back. You need to calm yourself down. My German Shepherd, I don't know what it is with her and tile floors, smooth floors. She goes all claws and she can't go nowhere, and then she's scattering everywhere. I don't know why she does it, but she does. Welcome, Tess. Geraldine, Brute Force, welcome in. Barbara, welcome. Marty and Blanche. Patricia and Terry. The Car Arts. Me. You're here. Sylvia, welcome in. Might have to get up and adjust this little heater in here. Should have checked it before I sat down. I'm going to jump up and check that here as soon as I get done this row and mark it off. Increasing for a sweater sleeve right now, starting with the cuff. Sir Hooks a lot, welcome in. I'm a little late coming on. I know I did say 11:30. My husband's schedule got pushed behind, and then I had to get something to eat. So, alright, tink off that row. You gotta move. Move. She's sitting right behind my chair. I can't push back to get up. Calm yourself down. Hello, Nikisha. How are you? I had to adjust the heater before it got too hot in this room. It is not good to work with yarn with your hands damp. I want to make sure that this cuff is not too small, and it's kind of hard to do it this way. But I think that that should be big enough. Yeah. See? Cuff. Ta-da. I'm doing well. Yeah, I just took a drink. I'm still working, sipping on coffee over here. And yeah, there's not a lot of room working with these longer needles. I might have to switch over to the shorter ones. I'll be beating out a drum beat, signaling my ancestors with these on his desktop. So, Sir Hooks-a-Lot, are you still working on that shawl? Did you get all your frog yarn back on? Welcome in, Winona and Maria. Oh, Ethelleaf the Fairy, welcome, welcome. Oh yeah, I know that was a mess, wasn't it? I know you had fun getting it untangled. For sure. Oh, and that shawl that I did have hanging up, just to let everyone know who has asked about that silk beaded shawl that I had hanging on my dress dummy. I did link a pattern to that. My mother did say yes, it was the virus shawl. Mind you, it was done in silk lace weight yarn. And I'm not sure what size hook she used, but I knew it was a little oversized for the yarn. I know I said I wanted to switch those smaller needles over here, and I'm going to do it here in just a second. If I was just sitting back doing this, it'd be all fine and well, but I've got limited space. I can either have you over my head and have space, or not have space and still be able to read my comments. I want to keep up with all the comments. Welcome in, Kimmy. Maria, welcome. If anybody has any knit or crochet questions or needs help with a pattern, needs to see stitches, he can see them on his laptop while he's recording. Oh, I'll have to ask him about that, because I can probably go in and watch my live on a backup account and be able to see all the comments on my computer, but, you know, I'm going to be doing some other things. Once everything gets set in place, I'm going to do better lighting. I'm probably going to do a streaming program that will let me do a lot more with what I'm doing. Today, what I have done, I have redone all of the way I do my stuff. I'll be on every day, Monday through Friday, except for Thursday for right now, at 11:30. Monday, I do the basic stitches for crochet and knit, so that all the beginners that find me and follow have a place to start. So Mondays will be all the beginning stitches and I will do them over and over and over from 11:30 till probably 2 o'clock every day, except for Thursday for now. Tuesday's class has gotten moved to 11:30. I'm on in the morning just to chat, hang out, support other content creators in their lives as well, because I'm missing a lot of that by having just sporadic whenever I do my lives. So I was checking and watching to see when the ones that I like to support are normally on. And hence I've changed the schedule. Plus, a lot of people were asking for a set schedule, which might be hard for me to maintain. We'll have to see, because that's being on here. Even though I was on here every day, it wasn't like it's scheduled. I didn't want to be unreliable and say, okay, we're going to do this and can't. So we're going to give this a trial run and see how it goes. But if you do have crochet questions or need help with crochet, that's what we're going to be doing pretty much Wednesday and Friday. Tuesday, I'll still have instruction from 11:30 to 2, which gives us a little bit more time uninterrupted. And we can push to 3 if I'm feeling okay. So I did change that around a little bit. I have been, and I did talk about it in Tuesday's class, this Tuesday past. So yeah, Maze, if you need any help with crochet, I'm here. I can set this to the side because this is actually a commission that I'm working on. And I can help you if you need any help, pattern-wise, stitch-wise, either or. Hey, 27 Barbie. Alma, welcome. User 370, welcome. And Fem876, welcome, welcome. Yuri, welcome in. So yeah, if you have any crochet help or need to see a crochet stitch, you're not sure how to do a stitch, just let me know. And this is row 12, increase row. So yeah, I finished up the wrap. I posted a video. I had it on the dummy today on the live this morning. Okay, you were going to learn crochet from me. All right, let me finish up this row and we will start the crochet. Yes, yes indeed, we will, we will. I'm working on the sleeve to a custom sweater. I have 2 commissions, both custom sweaters that I'm working on now. Finish up this row real quick and we're going to help Maze. Maze, I want you to go ahead and get your yarn and crochet hook out. And we will see what we got going on here. Have you ever been taught how to crochet before, Maze? Yes, I do love the wrap. It was absolutely beautiful, wasn't it? A tree sweater. Oh, okay. Okay, you've never done any before. Okay, we're going to get you started off. And I'm also going to let you know, yes, I will be here all week long to help anyone. And it doesn't matter if they're new crocheters or not. I'm ready to help every last one who comes seeking my assistance on any day of the week, but basically Monday we will be doing these stitches over and over and over again. Should have been just a little bit more prepared for this part with a couple skeins of yarn, or a couple cakes of yarn rather. Got to get back up underneath of here, finagling my way around a dog that refuses to move at my feet. Scary Mary, it depends on what type of yarn you are working with. When I freestyle crochet, I use a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook, which is also an F or a 5 in the US size. And I use that for worsted weight yarn, simply because I don't like a whole lot of holes in my crochet. I like it to be nice, neat. You can see the stitches and the stitch definition, and that's why I use this size hook. Now on your yarn label, and Maze, I'm going to give you a little here about the yarn label. On your yarn label, it's going to tell you your size, the weight of your yarn, and this is Red Heart. This is worsted weight yarn. It's going to tell you the recommended size hook to achieve this gauge. That doesn't solely mean that this is the size hook you have to use. Now, as you progress on, you will understand what hook sizes mean. The smaller the hook, the smaller the loop, the smaller your project. That's the basics. But they're giving a recommended hook size to achieve the gauge that they're showing on the label. And we can talk about that more later when we get into get you a little bit more basic understanding of all of the stitches. Now, to start off, we are going to fasten the yarn to our crochet hook, because you have to have a loop to start off with. So, when I learned, you just tied it onto your crochet hook. You took your yarn and you wrapped it around your crochet hook, and you tied it just like you're tying your shoestrings. You don't tie it in a bow, you do 2 of those little knots. And I used to lay my crochet hook down and do that, and tie it. You do that tie twice. I'm not going to tighten this down because then I'll have to pluck out the knot or cut it off. But you would snug it down enough that it still slides on your crochet hook. You don't want it to be so tight that you can barely move it and it squeaks. You want a little bit of slack, and you want it to slide freely. So you can tie it on, or you can do, oops, shouldn't have done that. Or you can do a slip knot. I meant to pull that out before I pulled on both ends. Now I get to play with it. Or choose not to. And grab the other one. Here we go. Now we got a little knot in there, but we're going to leave it. It's not going to matter. For a slip knot, I'll hold the tail end of my yarn. Let me cut this off because you don't need to have all that tail hanging there. I'll hold the tail of my yarn between my thumb and my ring finger. I will take and I will wrap over my index finger and up underneath my middle finger. And when I come up around my middle finger, I will create an X. Hey Rachel, I'm working on your first sleeve. And then I'll hold the yarn just against my ring finger over here. I have 2 separate strings. I take my crochet hook, I put it underneath the first, and I grab the second. When I grab the second, I kind of bring my fingers in so I've got a little slack that I can pull on this. Point my hook down, then turn it around. So I've just twisted a loop onto there. Okay? At this point, you're going to hold on to everything, but you're going to take your index finger and your middle finger out of that loop. You still have a hold of the original, and over here, you just tighten everything up, and then you have a slip knot. So if you have to take this out because you don't like your stitches, you don't have to pluck at that knot like I just did a minute ago. This slip knot pops right out. Okay? Now, do you mind coming on so that you don't have to stop, but you don't have to turn your camera on? Are you able to come live, Maze? Or would you rather not? If you'd rather not, I need to know that you can achieve this part before I go on to the next part. Yes, Rachel. I'm working on your first sweater sleeve. Thank you, Crojo Magic. Hey, Hessalife. You have the slip knot and you've got it attached on. Okay. All right. As long as you tell me that you've got it attached on, I can continue on to the next thing. Now, I hold my crochet hook like a pencil. Some people hold it this way and are working their stitches. there is no wrong way to hold your crochet hook. You will find the way that is most comfortable for you, and that'll be the way you hold it. Okay? So when you find out that what that is, I normally just hold it like this, or I'm up here a little bit. But we're going to do what is called a chain. Now, the string that is going to my ball of yarn goes over my index finger. And back here, I hold with these two fingers, my pinky and ring finger, tension on that string. I just kind of, grip my hand around it a little bit so that it doesn't fly through my hand so easy, but not enough that it's going to tighten up my stitches. Tension is something that you have to practice. You're not going to have it perfect right off the bat. So, holding my yarn up so I'll be able to yarn over, holding my tension with these two fingers back here, I take my thumb and middle finger and I'm holding on to the tail of my work. So I have complete control of everything that I have in my hands. Nothing's flopping and moving out of the way. Now, the first thing that I teach is the chain, because you need a foundation chain to start pretty much any project unless you're doing magic circle, which we can get to later. So a chain, all you're going to do is yarn over. And to yarn over, you go under your yarn, and you're going to catch a hold of it with the crochet hook like that. As I'm coming towards the loop on my crochet hook here, I'm going to turn my hook downward and bring it through the loop. Turning your hook downward makes it so that you don't catch on the loop on the way through, because your loop has two separate legs, if you can see that there, the V. Okay? Again, yarning over like this. I'm holding tension because you can see that this yarn is not coming forward. It's actually resisting. Turn my hook down. If I don't turn the hook down and leave it like this, a lot of people are like, oh. And they'll sit there and pull and pull and pull until they've got this loop so stretched out. Okay? A lot of people don't teach everything like I do. So you're learning not only how to do the stitch, but what the hook is doing, when the hook is doing it, and how my hands are holding on to everything. Okay? So again, that's from here, under the yarn, and grab, which is called a yarn over. It's also abbreviated as a YO in patterns. Catch your yarn under the hook, then turn it downward towards your thumb and finger here, and pull it through your chain. Okay? If you're comfortable with this part, let me know. If you need to see it again, just say see it again, or I've got it. And then we can go on to the next thing. And what I'm going to have you do, if you've got this, I'm going to have you do this about 15 times. Okay? So, we're at this point here. I can take it all the way back here to the beginning so you can see it directly from the beginning. There's my little slip knot. Okay, I'm holding everything here. Now we're going to yarn over. Go like this. You're going to yarn over. Allow your I tighten up on my tension with my pinky and my ring finger, so that you can see here that yarn. This yarn has got, it's really, I can almost twang it like a guitar string. Okay, so that I get it to snap under that hook. Then I turn my hook downward towards my thumb and pull it through the loop. When I come through the loop, I let go of the tension so I can pull the loop through. So again, yarn over. Hold your yarn tight, your tension. Slide your needle or your crochet hook back a little bit so you can snatch it under your hook. Turn your hook down towards your thumb. Pull it through the loop. Once you feel it snap through the loop, you can let loose on the tension here a little bit, and with your pinky and ring finger down underneath it here so you can pull your loop through. You want to make sure that your loop gets sized to this area here in your hook. Don't work it down here and don't work it back up in here. You want to size your loop right there. If it's a little too big, you just tighten it up a little bit. Make sure it moves freely. You should be able to move it back and forth. Okay, again, a yarn over. Tighten up your tension. Get it to catch under the hook. Turn your hook down towards your thumb. Pull it through the loop on your hook. And they actually look like little V's. You can see little V's. And this is a chain. Thank you for the follow, Jana. Okay. Yarn over. Tighten your tension up. Get it to snag under your hook. Turn your hook down towards your thumb. Pull it through your loop. See how I'm having a little bit harder time getting it through the loop? Now is when we need to adjust our grip and bring our thumb right up, our thumb and finger to right up underneath our hook. And then when you yarn over, the next time you come through, it's a little easier to pull it through. I think it's trying to fizzle in on these letters up here. It keeps zooming in and out. So again, that's a yarn over. Tighten up on your tension. Get it to snatch under your hook. I'm going to have to cover all of that up. There we go. Get it to catch under your hook there. Turn your hook down towards your thumb. Pull it through your loop. Well, some people yarn under, some people do it this way, but then, you know, you got too many loops. If you can go this way and snatch it through, it makes it a little harder, but let me see here. If it makes it look any different, because you can still do it that way. And that's what's great about crochet. And it still pretty much looks the same. So as long as you can achieve the same look doing it differently, you can do it however you want. That's what's great about crochet. But this has always been more comfortable, easy to explain to somebody. I mean, this is even hard for me to do, pull it through this way. It can be done. It doesn't change the overall look of the chain. So yeah, if that's what's comfortable for you, do it. For sure. Yep. I prefer the Susan Bates. I can get a hold of the yarn better. I do recommend that people who start out brand new crocheters to do the Susan Bates because it's easier to hold on to the yarn. The other hooks that I don't even think I have any more of the Boy brand hooks that are more, they're rounded in the hook. They're not flat and as sharp as these are here. But yeah. Yeah, it doesn't really make a difference in the overall look in the end. So yeah, if that's the way you do it, keep doing it because I can see a little bit here. These stitches are kind of leaning this way and these are going to want to lean this way. And you can see these are leaning back this way. I don't think that it would make an overall difference. It's just the tension that is on the stitch by going under this way versus pulling it through this way. You're getting a better wrap on your hook to start with. So for someone that has tension issues, this might not be, going this way might not be the best way to do it because you're not pulling through as much yarn, for one thing. Because this way, you've already got your loop pretty much sized. But yeah, you can do it either way. Either way. All right, Maze, are you okay with that chain? Do you need a little more practice with the chain? No, you're okay. or no, you don't have it. I want to make sure that, we get you this. And if you just want to practice doing this, we can practice doing this for a little bit and then go to the next step. You're okay? All right. All right. So when we come back to work back the next row, we're going to be working back over these stitches that we've already done. A chain is a stitch when it's in a foundation row. Sometimes it's not considered a stitch depending on where it's placed. And that, again, we can discuss later, because being able to do these stitches is what we're working on right now, being able to perform the stitches. I'm going to skip the slip stitch for now because it doesn't have a whole lot of height. When you're working back and forth, you're not really going to be using the slip stitch. So I'm going to show you how to do the single crochet. Okay? Yeah. Yep, you can make washcloths. 15 stitches is really wide enough if you wanted to use it for a mug rug, a coffee coaster. You sure could. So, when we're looking at our chain, it has, and let me do a couple here because doing that has made it so that it won't lay flat for me. It wants to twist this way and that way. There we go. Now it'll lay flat for me so I can talk about it here. There are two legs to your stitch. There's the left one and the right one as you're looking at it this way. But normally you're looking at it this way, which the left leg is considered the back leg and the right leg is considered the front leg. That will be important when you get to patterns that say back loop only, front loop only. That's where they want you to perform that stitch. When you start to work back over these, you're going to skip the first one always. Depending on the size of the stitch you're making, you might skip more. And it'll say the first chain from the hook, the second chain from the hook. So we're going to go to the second chain from the hook. You do not count this loop that is on your crochet hook as a chain. You're going to count the ones that are underneath. So we're going to go 1, 2 to the second chain, which is this one right here. And we are going to use the left leg as we're looking here, and also known as the back loop. We are going to put our crochet hook underneath of that piece of yarn there that makes up the back loop. Okay, once you get your crochet hook underneath of there, you are going to do a yarn over, just like we did earlier. Tighten your tension up, get it to go under your hook, and pull a loop through. Now you'll have 2 loops on your hook. Okay, I'll give you a second, and then we'll show you what we do next. Our next step is now going to be yarn over again, and we're going to pull through both loops. Once you've given that a try, I'm going to show you again. I'll give you a second here. I'll grab a sip of coffee, and I will show you that again. And this is called a single crochet. Thank you for the follow, Paula. And what I'm going to do, Maze, is I'm going to have you practice this single crochet today. I will be here tomorrow and Sunday. And if you're okay with this single crochet, I will show you the next stitch. So again, to do that single crochet, we're going to come and get a hold of the back loop. If you lay your crochet hook right down on the V and go upward with it, I put my finger up here and push that up on the stitch up on the hook. Yarn over, pull your loop through. Now you have 2 loops. We're going to yarn over again, pull through both loops. Thank you for the follow, Rambler number 4, and loving that profile picture. My mother is a Betty Boop fanatic. She has a Betty Boop museum in her house. Bubbles, I'm working with a 3.75 millimeter hook. It's the hook that I prefer to work with freestyle crocheting when it doesn't have anything to do with size. It makes a nice, you can see the stitches, they're tight, they're not astronomically tight like I'm, holding tension all the way through, but they're compact. Let's say compact. I don't like to have a lot of holes in my work unless it's lacy and intended to be. All right, so again, for that stitch, we are going to yarn over, go down into the next stitch. Now, the way you know the next stitch, you can see here that this stitch here at the end of my finger is lifted. That one's already been done, so we have to go to the next V, which is there. Yarn over, go into the back loop of the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. I yarned over before I went in there. Don't yarn over. This is a single crochet. Sorry. Down into the stitch and yarn over. I'm going to have you so confused. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay. Go down into your stitch. Yarn over. Yarn over again and pull through 2 loops. This is a single crochet. I will keep showing you all the way to the end of this row, and I will show you how. Oh, you've been confused, Andy. S2 Thrive, thank you for the follow, and Karen, thank you for the follow. So again, this is a single crochet. You go down into the stitch. When I do the first row, I only do back loop only. So, and you're going to yarn over and pull your loop through. 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again. Apply your tension here so that it goes under the hook. And kind of, you'll see my finger lowering a little bit as I go through, just to let the tension off a little bit until I get to pull through. Then I make sure that that loop is the same size, that it comfortably fits around the crochet hook, so that I make sure I can slide in and out. If you make it too tight, it is heck trying to get back in on the next row. So again, I'm going to not yarn over. I'm trying to show you the next stitch. Go down into your stitch and yarn over. Yarn over again and pull through 2 loops. Down into your stitch. Coming up on some of those that I did sideways. They feel funny going in. Or yarning under instead of over. Okay, again, down into your stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and go through 2. Are you having any issues, Maze, doing this particular stitch, other than the fact of me trying to confuse you with a different stitch? So Mondays I will be teaching all of these basic stitches for knit and crochet. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays I'll be here to help you. And these are the ones that we did under. It's hard to get in. It kind of twists the stitch a little bit. But you go down into the stitch. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to work this to the end of this row, and I'm going to show you what we have to do to turn it around this time, because it's a little different from the beginning. Just a tiny bit. So I'm going to work all the way to the end of this row. Those little stitches that I went under, they really tightened. They did tighten the work up. They didn't change the look, but they did tighten things up a little bit. It's a little harder, almost like twisting the stitch. So I'm working to the end. Okay, we've got our last stitch done here. All the way to the last chain, and there's our knot. Okay, at this point what we're going to do is we're going to turn our work. You actually take your work and you flip it over this way. Okay? Get a hold of everything here again. And you can see, got my tension down here, got my yarn, holding on to my work. Now, what we're actually going to do, because we're doing single crochets, we only have to chain 1 for a single crochet. So we've turned it, we're going to chain 1, and I'm going to tell you why we chain 1. You see how that pushed that back out over this edge? If we didn't chain 1, we would skip this first stitch, and our stitch count would forever be -1, and our work would go just like this, off to the side, and we would lose our stitches. So when we're doing single crochets, when we turn and start the next row, it always starts out with a chain 1. Reason being is this brings your yarn up to stitch height, and it also gets you moved over so you get all of your stitches. Now, I know I did more than 15 stitches, so I'm going to have to count them back through here so that I make sure that I have the same number of stitches in every row. Stitch count is a crafter's worst nightmare. You will learn that you do not know how to count. And this is going to prove it to you every time. So, after we chain 1, you can see here where I have little holes right here. And we have another one right here. Your crochet hook will fall into it very easily. If you take and run your hook across this line of stitch here, right there in that little bump, it falls right in. So here at the first one, right here, we're going to put our hook through both legs. You can see here I have both sides of the stitch on the crochet hook. Okay? And again, yarn over, pull your loop through, yarn over and pull through 2. Single crochet. We'll work that all the way back across the row. Do you feel comfortable doing that? Sometimes starting out with the magic circle is the hardest thing to do because the magic circle is hard to control even if you are an experienced crocheter. And to start them off with that in the beginning is really a hard thing to do. So if you want to teach her the magic circle, teach it to her the old way. Do you know how to do it the old way? Okay. So what we're actually doing, Maze, you can see this little line of yarn right here that travels from here to here, and it's got these little deep little dents in it. Right there in the dent is where your stitch is. And when you push through, you will catch both legs and come out on the other side. Okay, give me just a second and I'll show you. I want to make sure that I've got Maze doing this okay so she can finish the row. And then, actually I can tell you, because you're a crocheter, we used to chain 2 or chain 4 and slip stitch back into the first chain, and that creates a circle that you can work in. And we used to work in that circle. There was no tightening it up. And that's how we started working in the round. Back when I started, I don't know when Magic Circle was discovered, but I wasn't taught Magic Circle until about 2 years ago. So yeah. Yeah, that's why I demonstrate tension, holding my yarn up. Not everybody holds the yarn this way. They have to find a comfortable way. And if they can't find a comfortable way, it will deter them from doing it. So you can see over here, I'm using these 2 fingers in my right hand to hold my work. The left hand, I'm holding tension, supporting my yarn so I can yarn over. I have an area that is free of obstruction here to work in. I also have control of the other end of my work. So I've got control of everything. There's no floppy trying to get it in. You know, you have to teach them how you hold the yarn and let them know that this is not the only way, but this is how I do it. So, yep, everybody holds it differently. So, you know, that's the thing about it. That's the thing about fiber arts. You know, there's no one right way to hold it. The only right way about it is performing the stitches. There's only one way to perform a single crochet. There's only one way to perform a half double, and so on. So knowing how to perform the stitches is the main thing. If you can perform the crochet stitches, you can crochet absolutely anything. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm up really close so you can actually see the stitches. So yeah, I hold it like a pencil, like a spoon eating soup. That's how I hold it. Sometimes I'll be holding it like this, especially if I'm working with bulky yarn or if I have to make the stitches really tight and then I really got to shove the needle in there or the hook. So yeah, I hold it all different ways. So yeah, there's left-handed crocheters. I cannot bring myself to crochet left-handed. I don't know even how I would do it because it would have to go from the left to the right, and I've already got it started from the right to the left. So if I switch over, it would be this way, and I would actually be, oh good Lord, this here. And yeah, this would be not so much fun for me. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So if I find any left-handed crocheters that are willing to help teach, I will forward you all along, but my brain won't let me do it. So, Maze, are you still working along, trudging along, or do you need to see a bit more? I can keep going. I can keep going with you with this stitch today, clean up until 2:30. But I want to make sure that you can perform the stitch. Now, mind you, your tension is not going to look like mine. Yours is going to be some loose, some tight, some tight, some loose. Yeah. Yeah, after you've done it so long, that's it. You're stuck right there. Now, because I hold my hook all different ways, I can change it around in my right hand, but I cannot do it left-handed. Oh, you have a hand cramp. It's going to look bad when you start. Mine looked terrible when I started. Mine looked absolutely terrible when I started. But there's a lot of things that you've started in your life for the first time, and it wasn't perfect. But it didn't stop you from trying again. Now, if you have a hand cramp, you are holding your work too tightly. Oh, yeah, I use DPNs. I love DPNs. I love DPNs. I love circulars. I just love everything that has to do with yarn. Absolutely everything. But yeah, if you start to get a hand cramp, stop. Ball your hands up. Stretch them out. Give them a minute. Okay. If you are cramping up that badly, you might have, if you haven't already been diagnosed with carpal tunnel. And I can tell you, anybody who's in here, I want everybody to do this. Take these 2 fingers right here, put them in the palm and squeeze as tight as you can. Do you feel how all this tightens up? You can even see it. It's all tight. Now you're doing this, and yeah, it will really hurt your hand. So, Maze, you might be holding your work too tightly. in your hands. Yeah, down in here. That's carpal tunnel because that's like right here. Right here. I have carpal tunnel. I have 2 splints that I wear every night. And it keeps me from having to be cut on and get surgery. Okay. When you're holding your work, right? I have my yarn going in these 2 fingers here for tension. I take my index finger underneath and support my yarn here this way. These 2 fingers right here, my thumb and my middle finger, are holding my work here on this side. And then over here on this side, I'll hold on to this like this, just so it's not, so it's all pretty standard. Okay? Take your yarn, the yarn that's going to your skein, lay it over these 2 fingers and go like this. Take this finger, go up underneath, kind of keep this other finger out of the way. Go up underneath, so you've got it like this. Crochet hook, if you hold it like a pencil, just like you would hold a pen or a pencil to write with, put your crochet hook in your hand just like that. Okay, just like that, just like you're writing. And then take your pinky over here. If you have a length of work, or if you have just your tail, if you have just this tail piece of yarn, put that tail right there. And then you'd be right back working again. But if you have fabric built up here like this, and you have control of absolutely everything. There's nothing to flop. Yes, it is such a nifty hook. You are the creator of this lovely, lovely hook. And without this hook or those other grips, I wouldn't have come back to crochet, to be honest with you. Get Crafty Brooks is the creator of my froggy hook. Check her out. She makes custom hooks. I don't know how many customs she's got sitting in her shop right now. All different kinds of beads, all different color beads, glow-in-the-dark beads. Do you have any new beads that I haven't seen yet, Brooks? All different little focal beads up here on the top, and some have little racier sayings on them too. But you have to check her out. She's got some neat ones. And she does the Susan Bates and the boy hooks, whichever one you like and whatever size you like it in. That she has. What's the biggest you do, Brooks? Is it a 6 or a 6.5? Six and a half. 6.5 is the largest, and what's the smallest? The 3.75? Is your hands feeling a little bit better, Maze? Okay, 3.25. Oh, Sir Hooks a Lot. You need to check out Brooks. She's got all kinds. Brooks, if everybody in here could give Sir Hooks a Lot a follow. He's another crocheter, truck driver, and he's trying to get to 1,000. He wants organic followers. Okay, did you make it to the end of the row, Maze? If not, I'll turn around and I can show you some more if you need to see the stitch again. Thank you for the heart, me Jill. Okay, so at the end of the row, again, we're going to turn our work, which is just flipping it from the right over toward the left. Okay, hook is still in there. And then we're going to chain 1, which is just yarn over and pull a loop through the loop that you had on your crochet hook. Oh yeah, I have some pretty large crochet hooks, but as far as the sizes that she does the beads on, that she only does certain sizes, because the bigger the hooks, the holes in the beads don't get bigger, and it's hard to get the beads on there without tearing them up. So So she only deals with, I think, a 3.25 all the way up to a 6.5 millimeter with the beads. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right, again, you can see the little line here that we're going to follow along. Here's your divot. Once you get this down, knowing where your stitch needs to go, you won't have to follow this little crochet line, but I'm just showing you this so that you can understand and see what I'm talking about here. And again, we've got it through. There's the loop on our hook, and then both legs of the crochet stitch. We're going to yarn over, pull our loop through. Now we have 2 loops on our crochet hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. Again, this is still the single crochet stitch into your stitch. Yarn over and pull up your loop. My camera keeps going crazy. Yarn over and pull through both loops. I might have to stay down here a little bit. Can you see it okay if I stay down here? Because the camera keeps in and out. I don't know if you guys see it trying to focus. Okay, thank you for the follow, Melody. Okay, again, into your stitch. Yarn over, pull your loop through. You got 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, so you got this one, Maze. Do you think you might want to practice this one for the rest of the evening? Working across the stitches that you have. Melody, I hold tension here. You can actually wrap it around your pinky like this and then come up. That'll give you more tension for it to slide through your hand, plus this. I mean, I can almost stop it without having to overly tighten my hand. I mean, right here, with it wrapped around and pinched off, gently tugging, I cannot pull this through. Okay, so Maze, I'm going to let you practice this. Remember, at the end of your row, after you turn, you chain 1 before you start your next stitch. Okay? And then I will be back on tomorrow around the same time. And I'll see how you're doing. And if you're confident, we'll start with the next stitch. I don't want to confuse you with too many stitches tonight. And if you get it far enough to where you say, okay, that's big enough, I don't want to practice that stitch anymore, I'll show you how to fasten it off, because you might be able to get enough rows done. You can even turn this into a scarf if you wanted to. It's wide enough if you wanted to keep going with it, but you won't get a scarf done by tomorrow. I'm figuring, a little coaster. Now, once you get, if you happen to get this wide enough, Maze, before tomorrow, and you want to say, okay, I can use that for a coffee coastie or whatever, a coaster, what you're going to do is chain 2, like that. You're going to go ahead and snip your yarn off. And then just take your crochet hook and pull that yarn straight through. Just pull it. Then you can tighten that down. And that's what's known as finishing off. This will now not come out. I don't care which direction you pull it, it's not coming out. Okay? Yeah. All right, so I'll let you practice that, Maze. I don't know if I put the tutorials in there, but I know I did the magic circle and the slip knot. I need to get each crochet stitch put in there as a tutorial, and I'm going to try and work on that this evening and early tomorrow morning. So that way all the stitches are, there's a video tutorial right here, but not to say that I still won't go over and over and over again with those stitches throughout the week, and definitely Mondays are all going to be practicing the basic stitches, so that as I get new followers, which I know I will along the way, I won't be leaving the beginners behind. And once I can get that hexagon pattern figured out, we are going to do the crochet along. Okay, a huge hood for the dress. That sounds good. If you post it on here, tag me. I'd love to see it. I love seeing people's work. Grinch slippers. Okay. All right. There's actually patterns for Christmas style elf slippers and stuff. I don't know about Grinch slippers. I mean, we could use Grinch colors, but I'm not sure how you would put Grinch faces on a pair of slippers. Yeah, I love to see everybody's work. I really do. I get inspiration from following other people and looking at the things that they make, and as I'm sitting here making stuff, when we were crafting and making projects and stuff together, I got inspiration off of stitches, and I shared it right then and there. Thank you for the follow, Wonder. It depends on what you want from your slippers. Now, using a double crochet, you're going to feel the stitches more under your feet. Using a single crochet, you're probably going to feel them as well too, because they're kind of knotty. You can feel them under your feet. I'd say either a single crochet or a half double, because I've walked on double crochet in slippers before, and it feels like you're walking on little tiny ropes under your feet because the stitches are tall and the space that it leaves in between. Most of the time when they do the sole of a slipper, it's single crochet. So I would say either single or half double. That sounds wonderful. I don't know how to pronounce your username. I try to focus on it and it all goes wonky. But I do love the font that you used. Thank you for the follow, Penny. I hope I didn't miss anybody's questions or comments. Maze, are you doing okay? Do you need any help? I don't want to leave anybody behind. No man left behind. Not in my crafting class. Oh, Penny, I'm going to have to try and see if I can't find a left-handed crocheter. I can refer you to the Crochet Crowd. I think that they are on here. Michael, he crochets left-handed. Check out some of his videos. He's very, very good. I have tried knitting left-handed. My brain won't let me do it. Thank you, Rambler 4. I try to be helpful. I try to inspire. This is a craft that I hope never dies. Okay. Well, you practice this stitch, and if you feel comfortable doing this stitch, and you have time tomorrow, I will be back again at the same time tomorrow. Actually, a little bit earlier because I was a little late today, at 11:30. And if you need more instruction with this, we can do that. If you're ready to go on to the next stitch, we'll be doing the half double tomorrow. So I'll let you practice. And is there anyone else? Shell stitch Afghan. I love the shell stitch. I like any stitch that makes a pattern, that makes details, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. Anything to do with yarn. Absolutely anything. I like latch hook. I've done plastic canvas with yarn. I knit. So if there's anyone out there What size crochet hook am I using? Or what size? I'm not sure. Wonder what you mean. Okay, Maze. Definitely. This crochet hook that I'm using right now is a 3.75. It gives me a nice compact stitch. I don't want to say tight because there's nothing tight about this. It's very flexible. Tight, it would be flat and stiff and it wouldn't even be floppy. But it minimizes the holes. The larger your hook, the more gaps you have in between your stitches. And the taller your stitches, the wider the gaps will be in between when it's flexed. So when I'm freestyle crocheting, I like to use half double crochet. I use it for my granny squares. I use it for my blankets. I use it a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot. Yeah, you could plan it out to where you could do the shell stitch for the slippers. Now, what I would do if I was doing something like that, I would find a pattern for a shoe sole. And I will show you how this is something that might confuse a good bit of you. I did a knitted sock and put lace bands on it like a sneaker. And I might very well have them over here. Let me see. Oh, gotta move around dogs. These are my slippers that I have been wearing. So yes, they do have a little bit of dog fuzz on them. But I made the socks are knitted. And let me clean them up here just a little bit so you can see more than just the dog fuzz. Because yeah, when you have dogs and carpet, the fuzz ends up on your socks. I don't care how much you vacuum your carpet. Alright, we got a good bit of it off here. And I can show you, ooh, I want to do that, how to start said, this is the sole to my slipper sock. And you started with a long chain. You work in the back loops. You put 3 in the last chain. And then you work through the front loops, back down the same chain, 3 in the last chain down here and connect it together. Then you have some rows here that are short rows to make it wider for the toe. You can see how it comes in here at the arch. You could do a shoe sole and then, yeah, see, slipper socks. Look like tennis shoes. They've got a lace band on them and everything. Tongue and all. There's the tongue in the middle. But you could take this same sole and work your shell pattern all the way around the sole. Once you got it as high as you wanted this way, come around, and if you still needed to put more across this way, you could just work across this way to bring it up the front of your foot if you wanted. Yes, I love these. These are actually, it's called a reverse pattern. If you look up reverse, R-E-A-V-E-R-S-E, slippers, they'll come up. I made a pair for my husband, and I actually put did a little crocheted Converse star and put on the side of his. But yeah, these are done out of wool, knit and crochet. The sock is knitted. Pretty cool, huh? A lot of fun stuff that I like to do, but I need to fix this because look, I've worn it so much they're coming apart now. So yeah, I like doing all kinds of fun things. I like mixing knit and crochet. Penny, if you want to learn how to knit, I can teach you how to knit. Even though you're left-handed, I can still teach you because I can, which is absolutely phenomenal, I can knit left-handed. Not solo for too long, but I learned how to knit backwards doing the interlac knitting. And I'll show you. Penny, if you do want to learn, you'd have to get everything together, but I can show you how I can knit backwards. I had to learn this because anybody who's ever done entrelac knitting, ENTERLAC knitting, it's comparable to corner. You make the little squares and then you move on. You make another little square and then you move on. Well, normally it's done with 5 or 10 stitches, and who wants to turn every 5 stitches and work a purl row? So I learned how to knit backwards. I should have went with a smaller needle. Let me get these two here. And yeah, I knit with double pointed. This is a double pointed needle. Whatever size I need to obtain whatever I need to do. So you're knitting along and you have to knit 5 squares and then you have to turn around. I'm going to go to the end of this row because I don't have enough to do 5 squares and it's pulled out anyway. But Penny, if you want to learn, I can teach you how to knit too. But I can knit with both hands when I do color work. I have one color in one hand, one color in the other. Now this will look really, for the left-handed knitter, this is what knitting left-handed looks like because I'm going to knit with my left hand, which is, I don't even have to turn my work. These are size 8 needles, a US size 8. I'm going to come right in here, get into my stitch here. I have to hold it down really tightly. I haven't done this in a long time, so it's going to look really rough. But it'll take me just a second to get everything down here. Into your stitch, wrap your needle, pull your needle through, drop your stitch off. Knitting backwards. I don't even have to turn my work to do small bouts of stockinette stitch. I can just go back and forth just like this, and I get stockinette stitch. But I'm knitting every row because I'm knitting forward and then I'm knitting backward. When I come back here, most people will say, okay, turn your work. No, don't have to. And my last stitch. That out of the way. And then knit with the right hand. I haven't turned my work. I've knitted every row I've knitted, but I have stockinette stitch. And for the knitters that are here, I'll show you stockinette stitch, even though I just knitted 3 rows. There's the knit side. There's the purl side. Yep, reverse knitting. I learned that because interlac, I hated turning my work every 5 stitches. Back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. So yeah, I can knit left-handed, but I can't purl left-handed. So I could do garter stitch left-handed. No, I couldn't do garter stitch left-handed. Maybe I could. I'd have to turn it. I don't know. I haven't done it. Yeah, that's exactly why, because you don't want to turn it every 5 or 10 stitches to make a square. No, it's too much turning. I went right on YouTube. Reverse knitting. Yep. But yeah, anybody else have, and I don't, You don't know the difference? Oh, between the knit row and the purl row? Thank you for the rose, Melanie. Looking back through here because I know I missed some of my comments. Dog slippers. I've been looking at slippers because I want to do up some slippers. I do have 2 commissions that I'm currently working on, so it's kind of hard for me to be working on other projects when I've got paid projects that need to go out. So I'm going to slack off of that for a little bit, and I'll just be helping with stitches and things like that. Pattern stuff for right now. I should have both of the sweaters done by the end of November. I'm hoping to have them done before then, but I should have them both done by the end of November. And then we can get back into some slippers and things like that. I have been finding a lot of slipper patterns on Pinterest, free slipper patterns. They have some elf ones. They have some standard slippers where they did a green sole. And I'll bring this slipper back up here. They have a green sole, and then they've taken and done just the toe portion of the slipper where you slide your foot in. They were done in red and white stripes across, I think. They were really cute. And if you did 2 soles, a top and a bottom, you could put one of those cushy soles in between, like you put in your shoes, and make them extra squishy. It would be in between. I don't know how well it would hold up in the wash if you went to wash it. You might have to hand wash it and let it dry flat. But I would put the little squishy pads in between the 2. Or, and again, I don't know how well this would work. If you put batting in there, it might fluff up because you'd have to sew it down. So that might not work too well. But yeah, doing 2 soles and sewing them together, that would make it extra squishy. And then doing a slipper over top. But again, yes, there are a lot of slipper patterns on Pinterest, and that's where I get most of mine. And that's where I would get any slipper patterns. The different name stitches for what, Penny? The knit and the purl. This stitch right here, if you look at this side, you see little V's. Can you see the little V's here? That's a vertical knit row right there up to this stitch. Now on the other side, you don't see the V's. You see little horizontal dashes. I couldn't get the word out. This is the purl side row. Now this is what's called stockinette stitch, when you knit one side and this side would be the purl row. You would purl across this side. And a purl stitch is done with your yarn to the front, which is towards you. You put your needle in from the right to the left, and your needle stays to the front. And counterclockwise wrap your yarn. I tighten up my yarn here, pull my loop through, come back past the bevel on the needle to make sure you get the right size loop. That's why we have different size needles. And then the stitch you just did, you push off the edge. This is the purl stitch, going from right to left. And then the knit stitch, your yarn goes, I had it to the front earlier, I just take it in between the needles and it's to the back, it's away from me. And when you do the knit stitch, you go to the left of your stitch and go in from the left to the right, and your needle goes up the back. Counterclockwise wrap your yarn, pull your stitch through, drop the old stitch off. These are knit stitches. I can show those to you slower if you have needle and yarn and you're ready to practice. And here you can see the difference. This row of purl and then the few knit stitches that I did, you can see no longer a little horizontal bump. Now we're back to V's again. And if you knit every row, like knit this side, knit the other side, you get what's called garter stitch. you'll get these little lumps, but they're spaced out just a little bit differently than these here. Now, as far as I'm concerned, there's only 2 stitches in knit. That's the knit and the purl. Everybody says the yarn over is a stitch, but the yarn over is an increase. In my opinion, it's a knit increase. It becomes a stitch, but it by itself is not a stitch. So, 2 stitches in knit. Different ways of manipulating that stitch to get different looks. And Penny, if you do have needles and stuff, I can show you a very easy cast on that you can practice the knit and the purl stitch if you want. Garter stitch is when you knit every row. So I'm going to do a knit stitch. You go to the left of your stitch. You go in from the left to the right, and your needle comes up the back side. Your yarn is also to the back side here. Counterclockwise, wrap your needle, pull your loop through, knock your old one off. That's a knit stitch. Now, if I knit all the way across, I turn my work, get all the way here to the other edge. All the way over to the other edge. Turn my work, which is basically just changing hands for my needles. It was over here in this hand. So now all the work is going over here. And we knit the next row. Again, to the left of the stitch, through and to the right and back. And we knit all the way across. When you knit every row, it's called garter stitch. I can compare it to some other crochet stitches like the shell stitch or the waffle stitch or the waistcoat. It's just how you do the stitches that will give you a certain look. And you can see here, this is what garter stitch looks like. You see this little ridge here? Now I'll do one more row and you'll really get to see garter stitch. It looks almost like your purl row, but there's a little ridge in between because you're knitting every row. And a knit stitch is nothing but the reverse of a purl. If you've ever done a knit stitch and looked at it on one side to the other, the knit is nothing but the reverse of a purl. Okay, now you see how this looks here? These ridges, if you look at everything here. This is what your garter stitch looks like when you knit every row. It's called garter stitch. You've got a little ridge in between your horizontal bumps. And if you need any cast on help or any help with how to perform the stitches, please just let me know. I definitely will slow down, show you how to cast on. And there's all different types of cast-ons for all different types of needs. That's why they have multiple different ones. Thank you for the follow, user 887. Anybody else, any questions about crochet or knit, stitches, anything the like? 1:30 in the afternoon and I'm still sipping on coffee. Watch this stuff kick in around 5 o'clock and I won't be able to go to sleep tonight. Sunny Bear, I have not done brioche. Knitting, I haven't done it yet. And I don't know if there's a form of brioche for crochet. But it's one that I do want to do. And that one I will have to do a little bit of research. To give you any information on, yes. I'm sorry, Sonny Bear. pronounced it totally wrong. Yes, I am going to get to doing things like that, and when I do, we can learn it together. I will come right on in here, and we will have a great big old shebang, and we'll all learn how to do brioche knitting together, for sure. All right, Penny, when you get some needles, you come on right back, and we'll get you started, for sure. I'm going to suggest, do you crochet, Penny? Okay, Maria, you are wanting to know how to crochet 2 different colors. So you mean one half one color, one half the other color? Okay. Penny, you've worked with metal needles, so you know metal needles and yarn. So I won't suggest to you wooden needles. Anybody who comes to knit first and has never done crochet, I always suggest wooden needles to start with, because it helps grip the yarn a little bit better, and it doesn't allow for the stitches and stuff to slide off. So you've already worked with metal hooks and yarn, so you know about the slippage. All right, Sunny, I will show you how to do half and half. Now, are you talking about half and half as far as the whole thing from the foundation row all the way up? We can do that. And I can show you exactly how to do that. I have 2 different colors. I don't know if you'll see the change in these too well, so I'm going to get a little bit more of a contrasting color here. And I don't think we're going to use this light one, but we are going to use a lighter one than that to match with this. And I will show you how to make those color changes and keep them separate. Let's see. These are going to allow you to see these color changes very, very well, because they are very much so different colors. And you can do this with any color, any 2 colors that you have. And I will show you how I start off from a foundation chain of 2 different colors and keep the color changes going. Okay. Oh, this yarn is old as heck. Look at that. When's the last time you saw a label like that? Going to ask what you needed to buy. Oh, Penny. Yes. If you already have worsted weight yarn, you don't need to buy any yarn. Or if you have yarn that's smaller than worsted weight, look at your yarn label, Penny, and it will recommend a crochet hook for you. So it's always best to start off with the size that it recommends for the yarn. Once you get into it, you can always go smaller. So for knitting, yes, an 8 is going to be, and that's what I've been using here for knitting, is an 8. I don't normally use a smaller needle than a 7 or an 8 for worsted weight, because if you go smaller, it makes it feel like cardboard when it's knitted. I don't know what it is about knitting. You can't drop down on the worsted weight too small on the needles, because it makes it feel like a sheet of cardboard for real. But you can go down on the crochet hook. Go figure. 0.99. What is a 0.99, Penny? That's not your yarn weight, is it? All right. Now, as far as, I don't know why I grabbed that again. Move that out of the way and get my crochet hook. I'm going to start off with the white yarn. Yeah, 99 cents on my label. I have some vintage crochet hooks over here that were in the package still, marked 29 cents. That was a long time ago. Yeah, 99 cents. Right there. Ames. Windtuck was a brand that was through Woolworths. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this on with a slip knot. Okay. Now I'm going to chain about, let's just do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, our foundation chain. Yep, I'm still around. Yeah, 2 weeks ago for sure. Now I'm going to change colors. Okay, because we want our foundation chain to match the colors that we're running up. So mind you, if you're doing stripes and you want to do vertical stripes, this is exactly how you can do vertical stripes with crochet. Okay, what I've done is wrapped my yarn back over itself. This being the tail end right here, there's a loop going around my hand. I always leave about 3 or 4 inches so I can weave it in later. I make a little loop. This goes on my crochet hook as my next stitch, my next chain. I'm holding on to the tail from the white and my work, and I'm going to pull that through. Okay, now I'm going to have to do some adjustments to readjust my loops because I yanked them there. I'm going to put the 2 tails together, just leave them like that. Hold it all together in my hand. You see all my tails, my work. Now I'm going to do 5 more chains. 2 different colors, totally separated one from the other. Now I'm going to work back over this, okay? Again, just as you would, chain 1. We're going to do single crochets. We're going to go back to the second chain from the hook, do our single crochets back to our color change. We have 5 stitches, so we should count 5 stitches back. We should have 5 in the green before we go back to the white. Always know your stitch count. If you don't know your stitch count, there's no way you're going to be able to keep your stuff square. So always, always, always know your stitch count. Here's our 5th stitch. Now, here's where I change colors. Because if I pull this loop through, this loop is the top of the next stitch and it'll go over into the white. Okay? So when I perform the last stitch in that color, which is stitch number 5, because we have 5 stitches here, at this point with 2 loops, I'm going to drop the green and pick up the white. Okay? Tighten up that loop there on the green. Hold all your work together, yarn over and pull it through. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my 5 stitches in the white. I don't think I did quite 5 stitches in the white. Oh, we're going to put a 5th stitch too in the same hole just so we got 5. There you go. When you work back, you work your 5 stitches. When you get to your color change, chain 1, turn your work around. Do your 5 stitches. 1, 2, and I should have took the colors to the other side. I'll show you what I didn't do, and I'll show you what happens when you don't do it. 4, 5. I forgot a step because it's just so natural. Right here is my 5th stitch. I'm not going to do that last pull through. What I need to do is bring this to this side. Okay? Because now I left the green over here. It's going to be fun trying to get it up here, but I should have pulled it from the other side. I can hide it. And there's my pull through. Now I need to do my 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I know I'm missing all kinds of comments, but Nice, crisp, clean color changes. Now, I change on the last yarn over and pull through to complete the stitch. If you don't and you complete the stitch and then do the color change, this color would be over top of this stitch. So when I complete, no matter what stitch I'm doing, the last yarn over and pull through to complete the stitch and only have one loop left on your hook, that's the yarn over that I do my color change. Okay, did that help? Now mind you, if I wanted to go back and forth between different colors, I'm going to need a different little ball of yarn for each stripe, because you can't pull this white over here again unless you work over top of it, and then you take a chance of it showing through your work. Especially darker colors will show through your lighter colors. But you can work over top of this white and have 5 more white stitches and, further on. I do a different little ball, bobbin, or even a whole skein if I'm just starting. If I've got 10 stripes, I'll have 10 skeins of yarn up here. Or I'll have 10 balls. Or I'll put it on a bobbin or a clothespin, and I will clothespin it to that color. When I come to it, I'll drop it off, unweave some yarn, do that, pinch it back on. There's all kinds of ways. Okay, very good. How do I move my working yarn over to the other side? I could work over top of the yarn sur hooks a lot. I'm trying to figure out Penny's question. How do I? Oh, okay. Let me show you what I do here. We're going to turn, do our chain 1. We have 5 stitches in the green. 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Right here, I do my color change. This yarn, because it's on the back, and when I turn, I want my yarn on the back side. So what I do, once I've got my stitch here and I'm getting ready to do my color change, I'm going to drop this green, bring it to the front. Just hold it there with your thumb. Pick up your white yarn. Get it untangled from everything here. Pick up your white yarn that was parked right there. Pull it through, yarn over, and finish your stitch. See how your green stitch stops right there? But this white stitch is the top of the next stitch. Hence, this is why I do my color change here. Otherwise, you've got green and white fading back and forth on either side. Okay, the green is now parked to the front. And when we get done this row, I'll show you why. I just had to pull it from the back to the front up the work. And you don't want to do that, because then you got stripes of color up your work. Here's 4, and here's 5. Now, the reason why I pulled that green to the front when I did the color change, because when I turn, my yarn needs to be to the back side to start. You can't crochet with your yarn on the front side like you can with knitting. So your yarn always has to be to the back side. So once I do my color change, I will pull my yarn to the front, which makes it in the right spot. So again, here, did we chain 1? No, we didn't chain 1 yet. Chain 1. Do our 5 stitches. And this I have to tighten up because the yarn's through there. I was just looking at that. I was like, why in the world is that green over there? It's because it's loose. And here's my 5th stitch. Here's where we're going to do the color change. Tighten that stitch up there. Oops. We weren't supposed to finish that stitch off. Let me back up. We'll do our 5th stitch again. This is our 5th stitch. Right here, color change. Yarn comes under the hook and to the front. Okay. Pick up this yarn. Just holding your white down there under your thumb so it's out of the way. Yarn over, finish off your single crochet. Start your next color. You can change every other stitch all the way across if you want to. It's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then, of course, you're going to be working over that yarn. Okay? And then again, when you turn, you are going to have a right side and a wrong side because, and I'll show you why. This is going to be the right side here. You're going to see this interlocking no matter what you do. You're going to see it. On the back side, because you are carrying the yarn up, you see here? This is the yarn up coming from this row to this row. You're going to see that all the way up the back side. The front side, you don't see it. These are your stitches. I know I'm missing some comments. What is that, Maria? My other participants? Everyone's here for information. I'm here to help as many as I can in the time that I'm on here. Thank you, Penny. I'll teach you anything that I know, anything that I don't know. I'll go learn and I'll come back and teach it to you, like the brioche knitting. I really want to learn how to do that. I just recently finished my first mosaic knit project. I looked at the picture and thought, oh, I can double knit this. And when I looked at the pattern, it was like mosaic knit. I said, oh, we're not double knitting this because this is something I wanted to do. And I really enjoyed it. Beep boop, thank you for the follow. Just sitting and chilling. Sir Hooks a lot. Is that what you're doing? I really do appreciate y'all coming out and asking all these questions. It helps keep me motivated, and I don't have to think so hard about what I want to teach you because I'm actually teaching you what you want to learn. So this little fancy hook, awesome wonder for you. I got this from Get Crafty Brooks. She was in my live here a little bit earlier. I do have a link to her Etsy shop. She does custom make these. The hooks are the Susan Bates or the boy hooks. She has them from sizes 3.25 millimeter all the way up to a 6.5 millimeter. Oh yeah, yeah. Driving and hooking, right? Sir Hooks a Lot is a truck driver. A crocheting truck driver. But yes, she makes all different kinds. She's got all different kinds of beads, all different types of toppers. She's got pattern beads, glow-in-the-dark beads, all different color beads. But yeah, she's on Etsy. But I do have a direct link. I don't think TikTok will let you send photos here. If you click on my little button up here and go back to my profile page, at the top of my videos, there is a link tree link. In there, you can access me through Facebook Messenger and Instagram. They'll allow you to send pictures in the messages. And I do have my YouTube linked in there as well. So you can send a picture there if you need to. Is that Marnie? Happy holidays. Okay. Yeah, private message here on TikTok. They don't allow you to send photos. I don't know if they're going to, but yes, you can reach me on Facebook Messenger if you have Facebook Messenger, or Instagram for pictures. Those are the only other two social medias that I use for this. So yeah. All right, do you have either one of those that you could reach out to me on, Maria? Yeah, you should be able to send me a private message, but as far as sending pictures, TikTok doesn't allow pictures through the message. So yes, that access is available on there. Okay. Yep. And I gave you a direct link, so all you have to do is go into that link tree. Just click on link tree, and Facebook Messenger and YouTube, Instagram and all should be up towards the top. And then for everyone else, Linktree, I do put patterns in there that are pertinent to what we're doing. There are some shoe size charts in there that break, for those of you who want to do slippers, but you don't know how big to make the slippers. It breaks the shoe size down into inches. And it actually, I do believe, shows you how to measure from the tallest toe to the back of your heel to get the correct size slipper. So I did put... I don't think it matters, Maria, whether it's a photo of a person or not. TikTok doesn't allow you to send photos through direct or private message. They just don't let you do that on here. So, but yeah. Yep. I think TikTok's probably afraid of just that. You know, people sending pictures of things they shouldn't be sending pictures of to people who don't want it. But I don't know why, but they just don't. All right, everyone. I think I'm going to end. It is almost 2 o'clock. So, the hubby is working this weekend, so I will be back on. If you follow me, make sure to go back to my profile page, click on the little bell, and select all notifications. You will be notified every time I go live. My morning lives basically are to jump in and holler at my friends on their live, or I have a craft and chat, and we're just in there crafting and chatting. I will take questions in there as well. My time on TikTok pretty much is to help the crafter get through whatever they need to get through. Hey, Twisted Little Devil. Mays, you have a good evening too. I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. And hopefully you can get a little bit of practice in and be ready for the next stitch. If not, we can still practice the single crochet. And I can show you some neat little things that you can do with the single crochet. Yes. TikTok has it default set to personalized only. Yeah, you have to go in and click on the all to make sure that you're notified when I go live whenever. All right, Marnie, we will see you later. And Maze, hopefully I'll catch you tomorrow. I definitely will be here. Just holler at me when you come in and say hey, and let me know if you need more single crochet practice or if you're okay with it, and we can move on to the next step. If you need more practice, I can also show you some patterns with single crochet in them, so that you can get familiar with the patterns, the way the patterns are written, the abbreviations that they use, pretty standard on U.S. terms. So that way, you know, we're building on your knowledge. Okay. All right, Penny. Cass, thank you for the follow. So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and end for today. I will be back tomorrow, definitely at 11:30. I'm usually on really early in the morning. I get up at 4 a.m. The hubby's out the door. Sometimes I'm on by 5:30, 6 o'clock. Eastern Standard Time. All of my times are Eastern Standard Time. Just so everyone knows. Twisted Little Devil, I know all the basic crochet stitches from the slip stitch all the way up to the treble crochet. As long as you know all of those, you can do just about anything, because the waistcoat stitch that you speak of is a way of manipulating the stitches. It's where you put the stitch, how you finish it off. That's all. So, yeah, we can look at all of that kind of stuff. And, yeah, I saw a stitch, I think it was called the Iris stitch, I-R-I-S. And I thought, man, that's pretty. I had to go to Pinterest and look up an iris stitch and see how to do it. But because I know all the basic stitches, it just tells me what combination and where to finish them off. Like a cluster stitch. Some cluster stitches you finish off like a fan stitch. They're a cluster of stitches, but they're fanned out like a shell. Then you have bauble clusters, which aren't finished off until you get all the stitches on there, and then you finish all the stitches off at the same time. So it's just how you start, manipulate, and finish the stitch. That's all. And it's pretty easy. So the hard part is just learning how to do each individual stitch. So we'll start out slow, one stitch at a time. Maze is working on the single crochet. Tomorrow we'll be back. If somebody knows everything but the double, I'll show the double. I'll help Maze practice the single, and we'll all just be supportive and help each other along. So catch me tomorrow, definitely at 11:30. The mornings are just a craft and chat, but again, I will help you if you're on there. So check me out. Yep, Ames. How about it? Ames, 99 cents a skein. I've got some old stuff over here. But yes, thank you for joining me today. Catch me tomorrow. I definitely will be here Saturday and Sunday. And again, Monday at 11:30 for basic crochet stitches. So, may all your stitch counts match. And happy crafting.